Tom Holland, yeah.
We're going to talk Tom Holland because this was coming up with some other news. There's two articles here. So this is one my favorite topic of Tom Holland having beef with Martin Scorsese, because just saying that is hilarious. Mm-hmm. The idea of Martin Scorsese having beef is hilarious to me. Mm-hmm. And then also an article about the push for Spider-Man to get an Oscar nom. Mm-hmm. So this article is from the Daily Mail, and it says, "It's all the same, just one's on a different scale. Tom Holland slams director Martin Scorsese." Claims Marvel movies aren't cinema, as he insists they are real art. So Tom Holland is very sad. Mm-hmm. Tom Holland wants his movies to be seen as art, and it is art. Yeah. I do feel bad for guys like Scorsese in these situations, because what it is these movies, back in the day, his movies had to gain their following on his talent and his skill. The comic book movies are gaining their notoriety on past skill from comic book writers, who are often underpaid and underappreciated. Yep. But that's less. Maybe he feels like the hype around a Scorsese movie is more earned than that of the hype around a superhero movie. Yeah. And maybe he's not just talking about the fact that they do feel like you're basically on a roller coaster going from one large action CGI mess to the next. Yeah. But Holland, of course, he loves this character. He's been making these movies for a while now. He's clearly going to be defensive of something that's been so important to his rise to fame, rise in the industry, right? So it says, Tom Holland has hit back at Martin Scorsese. I'm going to do that for every line. Tom Holland has hit back at Martin Scorsese after the film director claimed Marvel movies were not cinema. Martin, 79. Wow.
He is not 79.
Scorsese. Well, they called him Martin. Why didn't they call him Scorsese? So, Martin, 79, who is considered one of the most influential film directors in cinema history, expressed his views in a 2019 opinion piece in the New York Times, writing that the flicks lacked revelation, mystery, or genuine emotional danger. I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. I would actually agree with that. Like I said earlier, one of the main issues I have with these movies, at least on the scale of like a cosmic battle, is there's very little stakes in the way, or you never feel like the characters are actually in danger. Mm-hmm. When we were watching mild spoiler, Spider-Man No Way Home, there's that scene where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man gets like stabbed in the back, and then just like it's played as if he's about to die, and then just nothing happens.
No, I love the scene when he gets stabbed and like Andrew Garfield's like holding him, and like they're saying bye to like Tom Holland, because like he's trying to save everybody else, and like Andrew Garfield's like, "You're in so much pain, aren't you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Like there's just no stakes to it, right? So they can get stabbed,
he's dying,
they can get shot, he's dying, but hey, at least it's funny. Like that part is annoying. So I'm not I don't disagree with him on that they do lack emotional danger, and that they were made to meet a quote. We're continuing on with the article here, and that they are made to meet a, quote, specific set of fans' demands. However, Tom, 25, who plays Spider-Man in the Marvel movie franchise, insisted that the silver screen creations are real art, adding that Martin would not know as he has never made a Marvel film. Mm-hmm. I agree with that too. Call me a fence sitter. I do believe there's art to it. I do believe that a lot of people put in a lot of work to make these movies look as beautiful as they do. Mm-hmm. Maybe the art isn't necessarily in the storytelling, but visually they're artistic. Mm-hmm.
They are.
If not a little bit paint by numbers and very Hollywood-esque, right? Yeah. So they all kind of feel like they have that same tone, right? When we were talking about Matrix Resurrections, we talked about how like the color palette just made it feel like it's all the same now. Yeah. All these movies kind of feel like they have the same feel and tone. Very rarely do they have like Zack Snyder movies have grit, but grit in a very Hollywood-esque way. Yeah. They don't feel like they have the character that movies of past generations did. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. But for me, if like Tom Holland wants a reward for it, why don't you just let him have a nomination and like let the people choose? And then
people don't choose Oscars. Oscars are chosen by committee.
That's true. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
But also, why didn't they just create their own award ceremony?
You would think at this point they would have an award ceremony for like best superhero. I mean, I guess the other ones are genres too. Dramas, comedy, foreign film. Why not have one for superhero movies? That makes the most sense. I'm still angry that they don't have one for stuntmen.
That's true, because like that is so disrespectful. Like
very disrespectful.
And also because like the only reason why I said they should make their own like award ceremony is
do you mean like category or like a separate ceremony?
Category and ceremony.
Okay. I would disagree on ceremony, because then it's just them giving themselves awards.
Well, like they can compete within their own industry, which I kind of want to see.
So Marvel, DC, and Sony would have to set up the whole thing themselves?
Yeah.
And then, okay. Sounds like a shit show. You'd have to have a third party person arbitrarily choosing the winners. I say just give them a categories in the Oscars, and let whoever wins, so that way they can have their award for best superhero movie of the year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because like I know Crunchyroll, it's like an anime streaming service. They have their own anime award ceremony.
Okay.
And they do that basically like how the Oscars
and
are.
Is it mostly won by things that are on Crunchyroll?
Yeah, because it's kind of like
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Marvel, DC, and Sony all come together, then they have to find a way to actually pick winners without them being like, it was biased against us. Like,
well, yeah, because like how they do it, it's like based on mainstream stuff.
Yep.
So it might be on Crunchyroll or like Funimation or other streaming platforms for animes. I can't think of
award shows are always still it's just them patting themselves on the back anyways. So I get annoyed by that stuff.
Exactly. I want a $2,000 worth goodie bag.
I know, right? Hey, where's our goodie bag?
Exactly.
Miracle's the one that's like pining for that Disney job.
Well, Disney basically they didn't cancel it. They did announce they're gonna have a third season, but I love the Owl House.
I don't know what that is.
It's really good. Like it talks about like witchery. Like,
cool.
Yeah, and it's like, so their main character, she's Latina, and she's like the first like lesbian character, and like they did introduce their first non-binary character. But I liked it other than like the wokeness, because
did they announce those things?
No, they didn't announce it. It was just like,
it was just in the show.
Yeah, it's just in the show.
That's fine. It's when they announce it and expect pats on the back that I get annoyed.
No, like the character who's non-binary, like you think they know what gender they are, but then when one of the main characters is like, just tell them that you love them.
Yep.
And that's how they write it. Like they don't rub it in your face.
As long as it's not announced beforehand in like the media, where they're asking for like, we're changing the world with our movies that are just designed to make money. As long as they're not doing the back pat promotion, I'm fine.
Well, like they didn't announce it until the episode aired, and like the creator was like, yeah, they're our first non-binary character. So what?
That's fine. Oh, so if she said so what, that's
well,
badass.
no, I'm just saying like that.
Okay.
But she didn't say so what.
Okay. It's when they expect the pats on the back and to be like treated like they're these great people for doing this stuff. That wears on me. I say just make the art, make the characters how you want to make the characters, reflect what you want to reflect, and let the art speak for itself. Do not promote it. It feels exploitative.
Yeah, kind of.
Both financially and like you're exploiting trendy things in Hollywood and people's identities so that you can look better to the public. I hate that.
Yeah, and also I have another beef with like Disney, because like this is a really good show, but like they're just canceling it because the third season it's only gonna have like 3 episodes.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be full episodes. It's just gonna be like sidelines. And I'm like, I just love this show.
That's sad.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Gravity Falls. It only got 2 seasons.
Well, sometimes the great shows don't end up, you never get, it's like Firefly. Sometimes you don't get more seasons.
Same thing with DuckTales. I love the new DuckTales so much.
So in the article it says, I've made Marvel movies and I've made movies that have been in the conversation in the world of Oscars, and the only difference is one is much more expensive than the other. This is Tom Holland still speaking. But the way I break down the character, the way the director etches out the arc of the story and the characters, it's all the same, just done on a different scale. So I do think they're real art. In his 2019 article, Martin wrote, many of the elements that define cinema as I know it are there in Marvel Pictures. What is not there is revelation, mystery, or genuine emotion. emotional danger. So I think that like it's that one. It seems like it's those one aspects of it that he has a problem.
Yeah.
with.
Wait. Would he feel better if they nominate them for like best costume?
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's what he means. But it would be like, I wonder if he's seen like something like Captain America, Winter Soldier, which is legitimately like a spy drama, and there's some stakes, but not really. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like The Dark Knight, he loses the love of his life, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like there aren't movies, but then again, that's not really a.
What about
Batman? Mm-hmm. The Dark Knight trilogy isn't really superhero movies. They're crime thrillers. He just happens to be a comic book character, but they're more crime drama than they are superhero.
I feel like he's the audience that they're not looking for, and he doesn't really care for it.
He's a little old. Mm-hmm. He's a little outside the target demographic.
Yeah.
And he's also coming from the perspective of an artist and a creator, which is always going to be different than that of a viewer. And these people, in the beautiful world of capitalism, these studios are, when they're doing these things right, are making things that people want to see. And right now, what people want to see are movies about galactic war and sky beams, which, whether you think that there's stakes or not, seem to be selling well when they're done right. Spider-Man No Way Home proves that.
Maybe he's like, I don't want to have imagination.
That could be, or he views imagination differently.
Well, just imagine SpongeBob go like, imagination.
There you go.
With the rainbow.
So, and so they are looking to change things in this realm here. It's, or at least Marvel is. It says, can Spider-Man No Way Home swing into the Best Picture race after massive opening? It's time to have a serious conversation about Spider-Man No Way Home, and what it can achieve at the Oscars this year. Looking at the Oscars shortlist announced on Tuesday, the third chapter in the Tom Holland universe showed up in 2 categories, sound and visual effects, despite its late release. So it is getting, they do get like awards, but just not for like Best Picture. They get them for the technical aspects of the projects. Unlike most superhero picks, critical and audience opinions are aligned at 94 and 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, respectively. Wow. About the film No Way Home, they're respectively in line about the movie No Way Home. Critics give it a 94, fans give it a 99%, which I believe is the highest rated audience score ever in Rotten Tomatoes history. No Way Home also joined an elite club of only 91 movies to ever earn an A+ cinema score, and became the 4th live-action superhero movie to do so after The Avengers, Black Panther, and Avengers Endgame. None of those movies are A+ movies, in my opinion. None of these are A+ movies. Should be the rarest of rare, and I don't really think any of these are A+ movies, but that's personal opinion.
Yeah.
I've never been a pundit who believes in the follow the money to predict the Best Picture nominees, but especially in these last 2 years amid the pandemic, box office failures, whatever that means now, are even less of a hindrance for award campaigns. Still, as exhibited by our favorite web slinger, a monumental success can provide a significant boost. Sporting the second biggest box office opening in history with a $260 million haul, massive even by pre-pandemic standards, the Sony Pictures hit shows no signs of slowing down. The film is expected to generate at least $90 million during the Christmas holidays, up against The Matrix Resurrections, which also made the sound and visual category shortlist. After nearly 2 years of headlines about cinemas closing and films bombing, seeing a palpable heartbeat for the movie theater industry could move. Seeing a palpable heartbeat for the movie theater industry could move voters. So what they're saying is like just seeing that much excitement about a movie could move this movie. It could move it into like Best Picture territory. Yeah. But it clashes with everything that they've in the past used as Best Picture nominations, right? Usually they're going on clearly artistic and mechanical standards. So they're not judging it based on how this movie does with the audiences. In fact, I would argue that they do this in spite of the audiences. That's where the term Oscar bait comes from in a lot of ways, right? Like those films are made and released at a certain time of year, not to make a ton of money, but because they can win awards.
Yeah.
House of Gucci, I think this year would be a good example of that.
But it flopped.
It did. Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's literally proves what I'm saying. Like, just because the audiences don't like it does not mean it's not Oscar contender. It's not an Oscar contender because it's being made for those categories. Biopics always end up there, right?
Yeah.
Movies about historical figures. Sully was one, I believe.
Yeah.
Got one Best Picture, I believe. It's no secret that superhero movies are not the Academy's cup of tea. Unfortunately, critical acclaim didn't get the films like Iron Man or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse any closer to the top of the category. Weird that they mentioned Into the Spider-Verse because it's an animated movie, and I don't think animated movies make it onto Best Picture, do they?
They get their own category.
They get their own best animated film.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So when Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight was snubbed for Best Picture, the Academy leadership voted to expand its field of 5 to a field of 10 nominees in hopes that more audience-friendly fare could crack the field. That sounds like a business decision to me. And that year, Heath Ledger did win for Best Supporting Actor for The Dark Knight, but that a lot of people, whatever you believe, whether he should have won that year or not, I do personally believe he should have, but that's just me. It took a decade for Chadwick Boseman star-making vehicle to enter the Dolby Theater as a nominee in the top category. They're talking about Black Panther.
Yeah.
And then Joker last year got one for costume design. Seems like that's a common theme here, right?
Yeah.
The comic book movies always get nominated for costume design.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, would he feel better if they just got nominated for that only?
Well, clearly that's happening. Maybe Scorsese doesn't really care about that. He just doesn't think that, they can look beautiful, but maybe it's not the best story, because that seems to be what he always goes back to.
He's like, this is lazy writing.
Yep. Look, this is not to argue that No Way Home is about to become our new Titanic and sweep the Academy Awards, so how many nominations can it feasibly get? There's been a strong correlation between visual effects and production design over the past decade, so you may see the movie as an alternative to Dune in that race. I would argue Dune will probably get nominated. Dune will, seems like more high-end fare for them, right? Like they'll see it as more avant-garde and artistic.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. What do you think? Do you think do you agree with Scorsese, or do you think it should get nominated for Best Picture?
I think it should get nominated because if it's helping Hollywood get more money, they should get acknowledged at least.
Okay. All right.
Because I remember that Ryan Reynolds, he was nominated for like a lot of things playing as Deadpool, but he lost to Ryan Gosling.
What was he not? He wasn't nominated for Best Actor as Deadpool.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so.
Are you sure? Because they made the joke that year because it was Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling, and Ryan Gosling won a lot for La La Land.
No, La La Land was Oscar bait for sure. So it is what it is. I personally I value consistency more than anything, so I say if they have a formula or a way that they go about choosing these awards, if they have a formula for choosing how they pat each other on the back, as much as I hate patting each other on the back because I think it's stupid anyways, I say continue with the formula and don't change it. These companies, Sony, the money is the only incentive they need to keep making these movies, right?
You're very old-fashioned.
At the end of the day, Sony can wipe their tears of not getting an Oscar nomination with all of the $100 bills that this movie is bringing into them.
It's just rich people complaining about rich people.
Yeah, it's rich people complaining about rich people not winning awards granted to them by rich people.
Exactly.
So
it's so meta.
It's done better than The Matrix, I might add.
Yes.
So, I say keep it the way it was. That's just my personal view. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.